Welcome back to Oro's Digest. Today, I have another good COVID story. So, I remember back in September of 2020 when the Kenyan government instituted the lockdown. I sat down and started thinking about how the lockdown was affecting different businesses. And something came to mind. What about the women of the night? The lockdown, I think by, was it 10 p.m. or 9 p.m. that no one had to be out. And their primary business is by operating at night. So, but the government instituting the lockdown and no operations during the night, it means their business went completely to zero. So I made up a hypothesis. I was like, if people are not able to go out and meet women of the night, then where are they going? Very good answer, the websites. So I formulated that the traffic to adult websites, mostly in Kenya, would have gone up. So I went to Google and checked Google Trends for the top websites during that period. So of course, the very popular websites were amongst the top 10. But that's not different because over time, even before COVID, half of the top 10 websites in Kenya are usually porn sites.
Okay.
Then I thought about, let me take a different direction to this. So I went and looked at all the local adult websites, trying to avoid looking at everything. Went straight to the contact section. So I went to, I think there were about 10 websites that I went to them and wrote an email to all of them like, hey, my name is Chris. I'm a curious data analyst. I would like data about traffic to your websites. I'll use this for purposes of my own curiosity and perhaps write an article. To say, no one responded. Until about 3 weeks after I sent the initial email, then I received a message on WhatsApp. So during my sojourns as a teacher lecturer, one of my students happened to be managing traffic and data for one of the companies I sent a request to. So she came to me like, hey Chris, I saw your requests. My boss asked me about this and I saw your name and I was like, okay, I know this guy is a great guy, so let's give him the stats. Then I was like, oh, finally someone responded. So the name of this website was exotickenya.com. So I prepared a list of questions on the information that I'd like to track, and I sent them to the company. And although they couldn't give me the raw data for very obvious reasons, so they gave me the stats from that point. So now, while I was going through its stats by itself, I was like, wow, my hypothesis has been validated. So between January up to August, just before the lockdown came into effect, the monthly average users was 10,000 for this website. After the lockdown, 20,000, almost doubled. Then the number of people who have events, which is like clicking a profile, requesting for a call, a WhatsApp message, or any other chat facility that was there, was 3,000. And that almost doubled up to about 5,000 and 5,500 of that. And then similarly, the number of registered users went up. So more people were going to this website. So the oldest trade in the world moving from the streets onto online. So I found this quite really interesting. And something else that I was looking at, also during that point, the average time spent per user on this website was 4 minutes, which is way higher than Twitter, which is 3.5 minutes, and for Instagram, which is about 2.9 minutes. So it has more, its session lasts longer for that. So I got into a discussion with the data analysts on the other side and the CEO, just asking them, like, how has this lockdown transformed their business, and the ladies of the night, how has this transformed to them? So during the conversation, something really, really weird popped up. So the company Exotic Kenya has other business. The umbrella company is known as Exotic Africa. So they have Exotic Tanzania, they have Exotic Zambia, Exotic Egypt, and other African countries. So in one of the sister website, there was a lady in Tanzania. The lady was moving from Tanzania to Zambia, and she had to be tested for COVID. So when she was crossing the border, she tested positive. And one of the procedures after you test positive is to have contact tracing information so that everyone else whom you got in contact with gets invited to be tested for COVID. So the moment she sat there and she was trying to think who she's come in touch with, then she remembered like, oh, hold on. Everyone that I met during this period came from this website. And the website has the contact details. If you go select your favorite person that you'd like to talk to and be with, then you can click a button. There's a call button, there's a WhatsApp button, and there's a chat button. And that initiates a call to the lady or a man in this case. And she realized, oh, I think I can know everyone that I met during this period. So she called back to the company and like, okay, I have some of the calls on my phone, but can you give me everyone who came to my profile and initiated a call, an SMS, or a WhatsApp message? And the company felt, this is a good duty, so they passed on this data. And she was one of the few people who could account for everyone she has been in touch with. And so after that, the company realized what they're sitting on, right? Countries are grappling with contact tracing. For example, this chart here by Ministry of Health in Kenya was showing the number of people who have tested positive for COVID and how many of them have contact tracing information. So Nairobi, more than half could not give contact tracing information. And for other areas like Busia is a border town, and there's a lot of sexual activity going on, and Busia almost no one would give contact information. So the company realized that now, if any of the ladies on the website test positive for COVID, then all they have to do is make a request, and then they send that data to them, and then they can share it with authorities to enable them track everyone whom they came in contact with. And it's like, bing, contact tracing solved. No one, even the Kenyan government, had figured out how to deal with contact tracing. But now for this select group of people, contact tracing was almost down to 90% level in that. And once again, the oldest trade in the world has embraced technology like no one else has done. So back to this website. So I asked another question. So like, what other interesting and benefit things have come out of this website? And one of the things came out of this interaction was, in the streets, it's very rough. They can get arrested by the police. You can get beaten up by a client. You can contact diseases by clients who refuse to use protections for that. Now, most of the services they offered happened online. So it's only in some few circumstances that they would go and meet somebody at their house because hotels were closed during that period. So all the violence that came with the trade went down. And very importantly, sexual transmitted diseases went down because now there's almost zero contact with their clients. So they became more of therapists. They offer companionship to people who are lonely. And it turns out that if you were on the street, you'd probably be paid 1,000 shillings, maybe maximum 3,000. But for this therapy session, it could go on for hours. And these ladies were making double the money with no physical act. So think about it. They're making more money. There is less violence. All venereal diseases, sexual transmitted diseases have gone down. There is no better public health benefit than this that we've ever come across. So like, this website already transitioned into the best tool to solve contact tracing problem and solve one of the biggest public health problems. Like, how do we reduce HIV, gonorrhea, syphilis in Kenya? Put prostitutes online and turn them into some kind of therapist. Yeah, I remember very many years back, there was a blog run by a lady known as Sue, and the blog was called Nairobi Nights. And in one of her blog posts, I think it was titled The Spiritual Role of a Prostitute. And in this, he said how broken men usually used to come to prostitutes. And maybe the families are breaking apart, their jobs are breaking apart, and they come and become rough with them. And her theory was such that women of the night give this sort of like mental health experts. They help cleanse the city of all the nastiness and craziness that happens to them. And she said that if you take away prostitutes from a city, you expect mental health to go up. So that's this for this week. See you next time. Remember to subscribe. Any Buddha, after kuachiva always subscribe. Upper. But you just subscribe. Hey, and I have more videos here.